besides Khalil Mack, is Steelers and star running back Le'Veon Bell. They were pretty much saying as long as he reports by Wednesday is the day that they start game planning for Week 1, and that's the day that everyone needs to be there. Well, he continues his holdout through today, Ross Tucker tweets, quote, Bell would be smart to show up Friday or Saturday so he still gets his $855,000, but he won't play on Sunday. He says that's a good thing. He says 20 to 25 less touches and one less game of injury risk, but he still gets his money. If Bell does miss Week 1 or some time going forward, I expect James Conner to get the start, and I expect big things out of him. The Pittsburgh University product, Conner has battled back from Hodgkin's lymphoma while in college and appears ready to make a name for himself at the NFL level. And I remember this when Bell was a rookie. He must be careful. Availability in the NFL is often the best quality, especially for running backs. And I remember when he was a rookie trying to start, and he missed some time, and D'Angelo Williams ended up stealing that spot and having a good year. But all that aside, it looks like some Steelers, some Le'Veon Bell teammates are turning on him, not even to his face on social media. I mean, he hasn't been at the facilities, but Steelers veteran guard Ramon Foster, the Steelers player rep, on Le'Veon Bell being a no-show, he says, quote, what do you do? Here's a guy who doesn't give a damn. I guess we'll treat it as such. I just hate it to come to this. He's making 7 times what I make, twice as much as Al Villanueva is making, and we're the guys who do it for him. Also, what's his name? Marquise Pouncey, the Steelers guy, said some similar things. So offensive linemen just going at Le'Veon Bell. What do you make of what's going on in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, this is definitely not looking good for the Le'Veon Bell Steelers situation. It was somewhat similar last year where he didn't report for a while, but he did show up in time to start Game 1. But if you look at the couple times he's come back from suspension or come back from a holdout or mini holdout, whatever you want to call it, and he's struggled in his first couple games. And then come back to his all-pro form. But the longer he waits, I think the longer it's going to be that he is going to be effective. It's not like he's going to be able to come back week 2, I think, and be able to play in week 3 and look like Le'Veon Bell of old. And when you got guys on the on the offensive line, the guys that as Foster said, they're the guys that are blocking for him. They're the ones that allow him to be the great running back that he is. When you've got all these guys calling him out to some extent, calling him selfish, seeing that Le'Veon Bell's putting himself over the team, that's not a good look for them. I think it's going to be really difficult for him, assuming that he does come back in the locker room, for the team to rally around him and be like, oh, yeah, we got our guy back, when he's clearly he's doing it for personal reasons and putting himself above the team. That being said, it's really hard for me to be too upset at Bell for doing this.
Yeah.
It seems pretty clear, given how things have played out over the last couple of years, and if you look at the history of the Steelers organization, that he's not going to get the $16 million a year contract that he's looking for a long-term deal from the Steelers. And so I think if he had come in and done the whole the whole off-season workouts, all the preseason with the Steelers, I fully expect and do expect him, if he does come back, I expect Steelers to just run him into the ground, give him 35 touches a game, just gas him every single game, because it doesn't matter how he does next year. If you look at the league leaders in touches over the last 20 years or so, there's been very, very few situations where the guy that was a league leader in touches has lived up to the same even statistical average for yards per carry. Emmitt Smith did that a couple times and wasn't affected, but he was a freak of nature.
Mm-hmm.
And Le'Veon Bell is definitely a talented guy, but I think that he sees the writing on the wall. He sees what's going to happen if he does come back, and that his future really is in jeopardy because they're going to utilize him more so than they might have been if he was going to be there for sure for the next 3-4 years. But this is a bad situation for the Steelers to an extent. If you look at the team in all the games that Bell has missed, if you remember, he's been suspended a couple times already for substance abuse and off-the-field issues. He was also injured back in 2015, I believe it was. And their points per game not really affected by him being there or not being there. And James Conner, he's shown some promise this offseason. I'm not trying to call him Le'Veon Bell, but this is the exact reason why you don't pay a running back an obscene amount of money long term, because you can get pretty good production out of somebody for less money.
Yeah.
So I like Le'Veon Bell. I like him as a player, but I think that this is just a really tough situation, and I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't play another down in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I agree. I'm thinking the same thing. To me, these players, the offensive line speaking out against Le'Veon Bell is a little bit perplexing to me, because I always hear NFL players in years past saying it's a business and we understand why this player is holding out. Everyone needs to do what's best for them to get paid, and because the non-guaranteed contracts, running backs have the shortest shelf life of anybody in the league. It's always been do what you got to do and just show up week one, pretty much. Show up when it counts. And the fact that these guys are turning on him turned a lot of heads on social media. A lot of players are commenting on this and saying, whoa, like, I don't want to be in a locker room with guys that are going to turn on me, especially publicly on social media, and say this about me when everyone knows the business and this stuff is usually kept in-house. It's a bit perplexing to see these Steelers offensive linemen going at Le'Veon Bell. And but on the same note, I'm a huge Le'Veon Bell fan. MSU, go green. He's one of the best backs in the league. But James Conner is waiting for his time. All he needs is an opportunity. I think James Conner, if he goes out there week one and has a good week, he could be the starter going forward, and Pittsburgh might be like, why do we need to pay Le'Veon Bell this kind of money if we've got James Conner here on his rookie deal still? And that could be the end of Le'Veon Bell in Pittsburgh. So we'll see how this all turns out, but it's pretty crazy in Pittsburgh, and I know a lot of fantasy owners are real frustrated by this news about Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, I traded him away in my keeper league right before the draft.
Good move.
And as sad as I was to see him go, now I couldn't be happier. Sorry, Eric.
But so we'll see what happens in Pittsburgh. Some other news in Pittsburgh: Terry Bradshaw keeps beating the drum that he's not a Mike Tomlin guy, and that he wants Tomlin out of there. My take on that is we saw what Tomlin's coaching in the playoffs last year, and it wasn't exactly ideal. So we'll see what Tomlin's got, what his future holds. It's not good when a Hall of Fame quarterback, former Steeler legend, is hating on you.
Yeah, but he might be the most out of his mind Hall of Famer that's still walking the earth. So
that's true. But I'll say this: I'm not a huge Mike Tomlin guy either. So, let's get to the Jets. Name their Week 1 starter. Stoyo called this a while back. They're going with Sam Darnold, the rookie quarterback, 3rd overall pick. Darnold will be the youngest quarterback ever to start Week 1, or since the 1970 NFL-AFL merger. He will be 21 years old in 97 days, surpassing Drew Bledsoe. 15 of the 32 NFL teams will have a different Week 1 starter going into 2018 than they had Week 1 of last year. So Sam Darnold starting the year off the starter. They're going with him all year. Are you surprised by this move? I would think it's probably the right move, though.
Yeah, it's definitely the right move. A month or two ago, when we talked about the rookies that were drafted, I said that they would sit Sam Darnold and have him play behind either Josh McCown or Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
But after watching him play in preseason, I definitely agree with the move to start him. He's looked great. I think there's going to be a little bit of regression from preseason because he's going to be facing some true NFL defenses and not the vanilla ones you see in preseason. But that being said, he's definitely looked the best quarterback out of this year's draft, and it doesn't make any sense to me for the Jets to not give him the starting experience based on how good he's looked so far.
Yeah, and you guys will get the first look at him in live, regular season ball. Lions, is it Jets at Lions on Monday Night Football, Week 1?
Yep, I'm hoping for those rookie jitters and not some rookie phenom, because it's going to be a pretty devastating loss to lose to the Jets.
Yeah,
I'm not ready to consider them even decent team at this point.
No, it's pretty much Darnold, and what's he got around him? I mean, he's got what? Terrell Pryor, is he still there?
He's still there, yep.
And then you got Robbie Anderson.
If he's still on the team
by
then.
Jermaine Kearse, right?
Yeah, he's got Jermaine Kearse, Isaiah Crowell, Elijah McGuire, or something like that.
Some guys.
Getting hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. So he'll pretty much have to carry him if they're going to do anything. I would think the Lions should be able to hold their own Week 1. Speaking of naming quarterbacks for Week 1, the Bills are going with Nathan Peterman as their Week 1 starting quarterback. Apparently the rookie quarterback and 7th overall pick, Josh Allen, is not quite ready. Peterman is famous for throwing 5 interceptions in the first half of his only start in 2017, so not a ringing endorsement there. Here's a stat. More than 30% of the Bills' cap space is devoted to players not currently on the team. That equates to $53.9 million. And Jags defensive tackle Marcel Darius counts for $13.5 million of the Bills' cap space this year. Crazy. Things are not going good in Buffalo.
No, they quite possibly are going to be the worst team in football this year. If Nathan Peterman is starting, and the last time you put him out there he threw 5 picks, that's got to be disheartening for fans in Buffalo. Although I think it's a pretty good move because their first game is at Baltimore, and to put your rookie quarterback out there in front of a veteran coach that's known for putting out a stout defense every year, that might be a little bit detrimental to his development. So why not put the guy out there that's we're already assuming that he's done.
Yeah.
So
I think this year's pretty much a wash for Buffalo. They're like, we'll throw Nathan Peterman out there, get off to a solid 0-4, 0-5 start, and then get Josh Allen in there.
Yeah.
Let's see. I was going to say one more thing on that, but I forget what I was going to say now. The Patriots released wide receiver Amara Darboh after claiming him off waivers on Sunday. They're back down to 4 wide receivers on the roster, and that includes suspended for the first 4 games Julian Edelman. Do you think the Patriots are going into Week 1 with 3 wide receivers?
I think they signed a couple guys, Chad Hansen, Matthew Slater. You know them, right?
I've heard of Matthew Slater, but come on now.
Yeah, no, there is a low number of receivers, but I think that they're going to be all right. If you look at the Patriots offense over the last few years, they obviously have Rob Gronkowski. Is going to be the primary target even when Edelman does come back. They still have Dwayne Allen at tight end. He's not the best tight end, but he's shown some promise. And then they also utilize their running backs just like wide receivers. You got guys like Rex Burkhead and James White that will catch plenty of passes out of the backfield. And then Sony Michel, once he comes back, he'll be utilized there as well. So I don't think that it's as detrimental as it would be to some other teams, but the running game in New England is essentially just running back catching the ball. So I don't think that it's going to be as detrimental as it sounds.
Yeah, and all that being said, you still got the GOAT under center, and I'm sure he'll figure out a way to make it work. He never throws like under 70% completion percentage, so. Chargers agree on a 1-year deal to bring back veteran tight end Antonio Gates, who looks to increase his already all-time record of receiving touchdowns by a tight end with 114. Good move for LA after losing tight end Hunter Henry for the season with a torn ACL. Gates already knows the system. He's already got a rapport with Phillip Rivers. And it's great to see him back for one more year. It's a good get for the Chargers here.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not surprising at all that he waited until after training camp was over to sign, so he didn't have to go through that nonsense, seeing that he's been playing the league for so long with Phillip Rivers. And I think he's still got something in the tank, I think. Over the last 2 games of last season, he had a combined 127 yards on 10 catches and a touchdown. So I think that with Keenan Allen there, Mike Williams in his second year, having a full offseason, seeing that last year he missed the whole thing due to an injury in the first half of the whole regular season. The Hunter Henry loss is huge. He was a young, up-and-coming talent, but I think that they're going to be okay, and Gates will be a good fill-in while they're hoping to get Henry back maybe for the postseason if they make it there.
Yeah, Chargers could be one of those sneaky teams, and it's cool to see guys like Antonio Gates and Vernon Davis just keep chugging along.
Yes.
Chiefs and tackle Cam Irving agreed to a 2-year, $15.7 million contract extension. Let's get to some Lions news here. The Lions sign running back Donnell Pumphrey, former Eagle. They extend safety Quandre Diggs, 3-year, $20.4 million. He's a former 6th-round pick in 2015, and after switching from corner to safety, he's been named the Week 1 starter at strong safety. Good news, keeping Quandre Diggs keeping his contract going.
Yeah, I think it's always maybe not always good, but it's good to keep some consistency on the weakest side of the ball. If you've got some talented guys, I do think there was a bit of an overpay for Diggs. 3 years, just over $20 million, I believe, was what he signed for. But I think that he was a good enough player to be able to try and keep around for a few more years while they try and shore up their defense. I think that it was a pretty good move. Bit of an overpay, but not the worst contract I've seen. Definitely not as bad as the Cameron Irving one, in my opinion.
Yeah, and if you guys are Twitter guys, Quandre Diggs, one of the best Twitter follows out there. He's a funny guy. Detroit releases defensive end Anthony Zettel, who registered 6.5 sacks last year and started all 16 games at defensive end in 2017. Are you surprised by this move?
Yeah, I mean, we really didn't have a whole lot going as far as pass rush goes across from Ziggy Ansah, who hasn't been able to stay incredibly healthy, over the course of his career. So it's a little bit confusing why we would get rid of our, I think he was our number 2 sack guy from last year, for someone that's only gotten 1 sack over the 3 years that he's played. But Matt Patricia's a rocket scientist, so you can't question anything that he does, right?
That's true. The old rocket scientist. So we'll see. Maybe the Lions will address defensive end need before, but time is running out. Season's about to start. Dolphins signed running back Brandon Bolden. Saints signed running back Mike Gillislee. The Broncos rookie running back Philip Lindsay asks Hall of Fame running back Terrell Davis permission to wear the number 30 for the Broncos. Lindsay played for the Colorado University in college and made the Denver roster after being signed as an undrafted free agent in May. So that'll be cool to see the Broncos 30 back out there. The Broncos named rookie running back Royce Freeman the starter for Week 1. Surprising move there. And he seems to be making the most of his opportunity in Denver. Denver safety Sua Cravens is heading to IR and is expected to have another knee procedure, so some bad news there. And the Broncos release quarterback Paxton Lynch and claim Kevin Hogan, quarterback, off of waivers. You think Royce Freeman starting Week 1 is a good move?
Yeah, I think that's the right move. He definitely looked like the best back in their preseason. Definitely looked better than Devonta Booker, the guy left over from last year. They traded away C.J. Anderson, who was their starter last year. Royce Freeman, talented guy. Got to see him play plenty here for the Ducks. I think that it's definitely the right move given who's on their roster currently, and hopefully he'll be able to help Case Keenum not look like a fool.
Yeah, they're going to need all the help they can get from the running game. They haven't had a great running game there in Denver in a while, so hopefully for their sake, Royce Freeman turns out to be the guy. The Redskins named veteran running back Adrian Peterson their Week 1 starter, so we'll get to see some more AP. And let's do Super Bowl 53 pre-Week 1 prediction. Who do you have going to the Super Bowl in January? Or late January, early February. Who do you got this year?
All right, well, per usual, I'm going to that makes it sound too I got the Patriots making it in the AFC.
Yep.
Tom Brady's still there. I don't see this year being the year that he regresses significantly. I think that they shore up their defense a little bit, and they, despite not having Edelman there for the first few games, I think that they'll still be able to survive and easily win their division. No surprises there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's not another team out there in the AFC that has a solid enough roster and is going to be strong enough to beat them this year in the AFC. So I've got the Patriots going in the AFC, and then for the NFC, I have the New Orleans Saints making the Super Bowl. I think that their defense looked really good last year. They drafted really well, and I see another year of Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram once he comes back from his 4-game suspension. But I think they did a really good job picking up Gillislee after he was cut by the Patriots. I think he's going to be a great fill-in for them while they're waiting for Ingram to come back. They're not going to lean too heavily on Drew Brees, but he's always there to throw for 400 yards if he needs to. Their defense, I don't think that's going to regress much, if at all. And I think they should have been to the Super Bowl last year. So I have them making it for the NFC.
Yep. I'm going Patriots in the AFC. I'm with you on that. I was thinking maybe the Raiders, and then they got rid of Khalil Mack. I was thinking maybe the Steelers, and now the Le'Veon Bell issues. And even with a healthy Le'Veon Bell, I don't trust the Steelers to beat the Patriots in January. So I'm going Patriots out of the AFC. And there's pretty much 3 teams in the NFC I would consider. It would be the Saints, the Vikings, or the Rams. When you get into the postseason last year, Jared Goff he didn't play great, and he was kind of exposed a little bit there in the playoffs by Atlanta. And so I don't really trust Jared Goff yet. I think he's taking baby steps. Maybe he'll win 1 game this year in the playoffs, but unless that defense completely dominates, I don't see the Rams going. That leaves me with Vikings-Saints, which I believe will be the NFC Championship game. Vikings-Saints. Home field is going to play a big role in this, and it's going to be another barn burner like we had last year. And, hopefully the Vikings defense can hold Drew Brees out of the end zone on that late drive, and because I don't see another Case Keenum miracle happening.
I hope not. He's not there anymore.
I don't see a Kirk Cousins miracle happening. I think Marcus Williams will tackle with his head up this year. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Vikings, Saints, I'm with you. Saints are going to be right there. They're going to be tough to beat. Breeze is trying to go out on top. I'm going to take the Vikings by like 3 points in the NFC Championship game, and we'll have a Patriots-Vikings. Who do you have winning the Super Bowl?
I've got the Saints winning it.
Nice.
I think that they've got possibly the most balanced team. I think they're definitely in contention for that. And I think that we saw how that works out against the Patriots. They struggled to defend the run last year and defend the pass well. And so I think that they all always have Drew Brees there to decide to, all right, time to chuck the ball around.
Yeah.
He's got some good receivers there. Cameron Meredith, Cameron Meredith, I think was a good addition. A solid, second, third receiver to be there behind Michael Thomas. So I think that the Saints will come out on top, and Brady will still be the GOAT.
Nice. Patriots, Vikings. I mean, hell of a game. It's hard to pick who's gonna win. I'm gonna say the Vikings, just barely. I know I'm going out. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of rooting for the Vikings, but I think they have a great team. And the Patriots, I mean, they come out of the AFC rather easily, but the NFC is pretty talented nowadays, and I think they might be able to get one up on Brady. So I got the Vikings taking home the Super Bowl this year. And let's get to our Week 1 predictions. The season starting up tomorrow. We're going to get back in the groove. Can't wait. Should be some great football here Week 1. Thursday night, Falcons at Eagles with Nick Foles starting and no Alshon Jeffrey. How do you see the Falcons-Eagles going?
I see the Falcons winning this game. Like you mentioned, no Alshon Jeffrey, no Carson Wentz.
Yep.
And the Falcons were pretty dang close to beating the Eagles last year when they played them in the playoffs. And Nick Foles has not looked great so far this preseason. And I think that the Falcons are going to want a little bit of revenge. They've got another year under the Steve Sarkisian offense, and we've seen with Matt Ryan, sometimes it takes them a year to get the system, and then everything clicks. And honestly, if they could have just gotten the red zone percentage up last year, they very well could have been in the Super Bowl themselves.
Absolutely.
So I think that the Falcons come away with a win here.
Yeah, I'm going Falcons as well. It's hard to trust Nick Foles, especially he's either hot or he's cold. And if you get cold Nick Foles, I don't see them having much of a shot. So I got Atlanta on the road. Sunday, Steelers at Browns. No Le'Veon Bell expected in this. Do you think that affects the outcome?
No, I don't think so. It's still the Browns, still the Steelers. The Browns are improved this year. But even, I believe it came for last year or 2 years ago when Le'Veon Bell missed the first game and they played the Browns, the Steelers still came out with a win. That said, James Connors looked good. So I think that they're going to be all right without him, especially with another year for Juju Smith-Schuster. James Washington, the rookie receivers, looked really good. They got an upgrade at safety. So I think that it's the Steelers and the Browns.
Yeah.
Tale as old as time.
Absolutely. I think it'll be a closer game because the Browns will play them tough, and they're a revamped roster. But I still got the Steelers pulling it out. Bengals at Colts, the return of Andrew Luck versus Andy Dalton and A.J. Green and those Bengals. I got Indy in this one. Who you got?
I've got the Bengals in this one.
Wow.
I think that Andrew Luck's got some rust to shake off still. Get some real NFL action in. There's an improved offensive line there for the Bengals. Indianapolis got rid of their best defensive player last year by switching schemes. And while the Bengals are missing their star linebacker because he hit someone too hard, Vontaze Perfect, I think that they are still going to be too stout on defense, re-signing Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap. They got some stud cornerbacks there. and another year for Joe Mixon and a new offensive tackle to protect Andy Dalton, I've got the Bengals coming out with a win.
Nice. Another game on Sunday, Titans at Dolphins. I'm going Titans on the road. I like the Titans. I think they're a better team this year than they were last year, and they were a playoff team last year. So I think the Titans are going to be tough to beat this year. You got who you got that one?
I also have the Titans. They're my dark horse pick for the Super Bowl this year. Actually,
yeah.
If everything goes right as it should be, I think they're the team to make it. Their defense is stout. They've got a defensive-minded coach. They got a new offensive coordinator. Corey Davis has another year under his belt. Signing Dion Lewis to add as a better complement to Derrick Henry than DeMarco Murray was last year. I think that they're going to be a really good team this year, and the Dolphins are going to be awful. So Titans over Dolphins.
Yeah. Yeah. I see Titans taking that one. Tannehill will be back, so Dolphin fans will be happy there, but I think the Titans come into Miami and get a win. 49ers at Vikings. This is supposed to be the Jerick McKinnon game, but he got hurt, which sucks for the Niners, so they'll be in Minnesota with Kirk Cousins starting his Viking career. I got the Vikings starting the year off with a win, and Garoppolo getting his first loss as a starter. Who you got in that one?
I have the Vikings as well. I think it's going to be a relatively close game. I think that Garoppolo is the real deal, and he's got Marquise Goodwin, who had a great rapport with last year and has so far this offseason, and he's also got Pierre Garçon, Kittle, their tight end. He's got some more time working with him, but I think that the combination of offense and defense there in Minnesota is going to be too strong for them to get a win, and Minnesota opens up with a win at home.
Nice. We go to my dark horse to win the Super Bowl is the Houston Texans. If everything goes well, if Deshaun Watson can stay healthy for a full season, we saw him against some of the best defenses in football last year just putting up the numbers. I think if Watson's healthy and on his game, he can dissect any defense, and he's got wheels as well. I'm taking Texans with a road win week 1. The Patriots sometimes start out slow, and with Edelman suspended, I'm taking Houston on the road in week 1 over the Patriots. Who you got?
Yeah, it's really, really tough for me to pick against the Patriots, especially when they're playing at their stadium, whose named Gillette Stadium. But when you've got a healthy Deshaun Watson, a healthy Will Fuller, and a healthy J.J. Watt, and a healthy Whitney Merciless, and you added the Honey Badger.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a really hard time picking against that team.
Clowney?
Jadeveon Clowney. I think he's his contract year, so he's got a little bit more motivation to step it up and live up to his first overall pick. I think they're a close second for my dark horse too. I just think that J.J. Watt hasn't played a full season in the last over the last 2 years, so I really worry about him being out. They're going to miss his 15 sacks if he doesn't get to play. But I've got them winning this week as well. But it's going to be a really close game.
Yeah, that's a game that I want to watch right there.
Yeah.
Bucks at Saints. Who you got taking this one? No Jameis Winston suspended for the first 3 games.
Yeah, I've got the Saints winning that one. As I stated before, I think it's not the craziest thing to think the Bucks could go 0-16 this year, and that certainly involves them losing in the first week. So
no way, Gavin. Bucks are not going 0-16. They're not a great team. They're going like 5-11, 6-10 at best, but they're not going 0-16. Too much. They got too much talent to go 0-16.
We talked about this the other week. They have an incredibly tough schedule.
That's true.
And Jameis Winston hasn't really shown.
He's gonna pull his head out of his ass.
Okay. If he does, then yeah, they're not gonna go 0-16. But just given their schedule.
Maybe
even if he was there for the first 4 games, I think they could easily go 0-4.
Maybe, but I think that they got a kind of a rough start. I think they'll turn it around. O.J. Howard needs to help out Winston a little bit. I need to have a good year out of O.J. Howard. But all that being said, I got Saints by like 34 in week 1.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to go 0-16, but if I have to pick a team to go 0-16 this year,
it'll be the
Bucs.
All right.
Yeah.
Jags at Giants, another game I can't wait to watch. For the matchup out on the island, Odell Beckham Jr. versus Jalen Ramsey. Should be a lot of trash talk, a lot of great play. I'll be watching that matchup. Also, Saquon Barkley against that nasty Jags defense. I am going Giants week 1.
Oh, man. I've got the Jaguars winning this one.
Uh-huh.
I think that I think the defense is the talent on the offensive side of the ball for the New York can't be denied. You add Saquon Barkley and a healthy Odell Beckham to an improved offensive line, a second year Evan Engram.
Yep.
I might be talking myself out of my choice here, but the reason why I'm down on the Jags this year is because I think that they're not going to remain as healthy as they did this last year, and right now they're starting out healthy and hungry.
Yeah.
So I've got the Jaguars winning and getting some revenge for Tom Coughlin.
Regardless, it should be a good close game.
Yeah.
So I'll be watching that one for sure. Bills at Ravens. I mean, we don't even need to talk about the Nathan Peterman Bills here. Ravens by like 24.
Yeah.
Yep.
The more important question is who's going to be a better quarterback for the Ravens, Peterman or Joe Flacco?
Seriously.
Maybe we'll see some Lamar Jackson in this game when it's
Yeah.
it's looking like SEC game week 1.
Yep. When Eric Weddle's got 2 picks and a pick 6.
Yeah.
Chiefs at Chargers. There's a good game. Chiefs at Chargers. I want to watch that. LA Chargers looking better than last year. And I can't wait to see Derwin James out there full time. I'm taking Chargers at home. Who you got?
They're at the Chargers as well. I think that Pat Mahomes is going to be the real deal. But I think that week 1, assuming that no other Charger curses hit between now and Sunday, they're gonna win this one. The Chiefs defense has been somewhat depleted. They do get Eric Berry back, which is huge, but they lost too many other pieces in the offseason. And the Chargers defense has only gotten better adding Derwin James. So I've also got the Chargers winning this one.
Nice. Who you got? Seahawks at Broncos. The Case Keenum era begins, and the Seahawks should have Earl Thomas out there. Seahawks at Broncos.
This is a tough one because Russell Wilson is a miracle worker, and I think he is one of the few guys in the league that you can rely on to win any game, no matter who the opponent is and no matter who else he has on the field with him. But that being said, I think that the talent on the Denver side is going to be too strong. When you got Chubb and Von Miller rushing a depleted offensive line there for Seattle, I think Russell Wilson's going to be running for his life, and the Broncos come out on top.
Yeah, I feel like how you beat Russell Wilson is you force him into some turnovers. And with those 2 guys coming off the edge, they could very well do that. But the good news is Russell Wilson has wheels and he can spin out. And I'm taking Seahawks in Mile High. Good close battle. It should be like Seahawks by 6. Redskins at Cardinals. A good game if I don't care. Maybe Adrian Peterson will get revenge on his former team. I'm going... Man, who am I going here? I think I'm going Cardinals at home.
I'm going Redskins here. I know I'm higher on the Redskins than you and Stoyo are this year.
Yeah.
But I think that the offensive line is relatively depleted there in Arizona. The defense for the Redskins is going to be relatively stout. And I think that I guess Sam Bradford's starting. I forgot about him. I keep thinking it's going to be Josh Rosen.
Sam Bradford.
I still think the Redskins. I think that Alex Smith's a better quarterback than people give him credit for. Adrian Peterson is rested and is going to be able to put up some good yards. And Jordan Reed, I believe, is healthy for this game at least. So Alex Smith will be able to utilize him. I've got it being a relatively close game, but I got the Redskins out on top.
Nice. Another good game that I'm looking forward to watching, Cowboys at Panthers. Cam Newton versus Dak Prescott, Zeke Elliott, Christian McCaffrey. A lot of star power out there, Devin Funchess. I have the Panthers over the Cowboys by 10 points. What do you have going on here?
I got the Panthers winning as well. They're a little bit depleted in their secondary. One of their starters got injured this offseason. But I think that the revamped offense in Carolina, they got C.J. Anderson.
Yeah.
He's better than Jonathan Stewart. Christian McCaffrey's been there another year. Greg Olsen is back from being injured.
Yeah.
Devin Funchess is healthy and's had another year to learn the offense. And they got DJ Moore, who I think is going to be a really good player in this league, especially with the Panthers. And the Cowboys are depleted on their offensive line, haven't made great upgrades in the secondary, although Randy Gregory has been looking really good this offseason. So
Nice.
That might be he might be the X factor for their defense. I think it's going to be a good game, but I got the Panthers winning.
Nice. All right, Sunday Night Football, prime time. We got Khalil Mack. Packers got Aaron Rodgers back off an injury. This is going to be amped up. People are going to be talking about this game. I'm going to have my popcorn, and I'm going to have a 12-pack next to me. I'm going to be excited for this game. Bears at Packers. Who you got?
You're going to need that 12-pack because Packers are going to be winning this game. Aaron Rodgers is back. He's pissed off. Their running game is healthy. They did lose Jordy Nelson, but they also added Jimmy Graham. So I've got the Packers winning their opening game at Lambeau by double digits.
Ooh, I don't like it. I'm going out on a limb here.
You don't have to like it. It's going to be true.
Going out on a limb here. We haven't beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in so long, and we've been so desperate for it, and it's in Lambeau, and we're going to start the year out with a statement win on national TV in Lambeau. Bears, you heard it here first. Bears are taking down the Packers with Aaron Rodgers on the field. I'm predicting 5 Aaron Rodgers sacks, and you're going to see the Mac attack on show in Chicago. Look out for 52. Look out for 58. Look out for 59. We're coming.
How many points the Packers are going to score on?
No, that's how many. Let's force a couple turnovers. Trubisky, just protect the ball. We don't need to do anything flashy. We'll run the ball with Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen. Protect the ball. We'll see Matt Nagy's system in prime time. I can't wait. I'm going to be jacked up for this game. Bears by 4 in a good, hard-fought game. It always is in the NFC North. And the defense, come on, Bears. Let's start the year out hot. Statement win. I'm trying to convince myself, but we got this.
Yeah, this is like your Bears going to have the number 1 defense in the NFL.
Hell yeah.
Prediction. Yeah.
It's going to start Sunday night.
Yeah. I believe both of them as much as I believe I got 15 fingers.
5 sacks, 2 Rodgers turnovers. All right. Monday night. Your boys, Jets at Lions. I know you'll be jacked up for this game, going against the youngest starter at quarterback since the NFL-AFL merger. You guys got something to prove. You don't want the rookie to come in and light it up. We'll see what Stafford does against that Jets defense. What you got going on here?
I got the Lions winning this one. I'm excited to have Sam Darnold starting.
Mm-hmm.
Not because we're facing him, just because
makes for a better game.
Yeah, well, it's good to have the young guys being good enough to be able to start week 1.
Yep.
And I'm kind of excited for the Jets fans. They've been just given garbage for the last decade and the 13 decades before that. So I'm excited for them, but they shouldn't be too excited this week because I think the Lions are going to come out and get a win. The offense in Detroit is going to be too much for the Jets defense, and the mediocre Lions defense is going to be good enough to shut down a rookie quarterback in his first starting game. So I got the Lions winning this one, but I don't think it's going to be a runaway.
Yeah, you got the Just saying the youngest rookie of all time, I know that the Jets are really high on Sam Darnold. I know he's looked great in preseason, but the primetime lights, Monday Night Football at Detroit, even if the Lions defense doesn't show up, you gotta shoot out Matthew Stafford, and he's got the experience, he's got the arm, he's got the weapons, better weapons than the Jets, better weapons than Darnold. I got the Lions. I think it'll be a decent game. I got the Lions by, I'll say 10. And then another great game, Monday night, Rams at Raiders. The Gruden debut. The Rams with that nasty defense. That should be a hell of a game. Raiders, we'll see what the reaction is in Oakland with Gruden and them boys coming out. We'll see if it's well received, but it is the start of the year, so hopefully Oakland fans will be in a good mood, at least to start the game, because I got the Rams winning it by, I'm going to say Rams by 14. What do you think?
Yeah, I've got the Rams winning this one too. The Raiders' defense was not great, even with Khalil Mack there. It's going to be bottom of the barrel now that he's gone. The Rams got some upgrades for their weapons on offense. Adding Brandon Cooks, I think, is an upgrade for their team and what they're looking for over what they had in Sammy Watkins. Gurley's had another year. Robert Woods had another year with Jared Goff. And their defense has gotten even better, I think, than it was last year, at least on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Sean McVay is too smart to just keep doing same old, and Gruden's too dumb to look at tape from the last 3 decades. Looking back in the 70s, you idiot. So I got the Raiders losing this one, and it's gonna be by double digits.
Yeah, and if that's the case, maybe we'll see some boos out there in the Oakland night. Hopefully not, but
Raiders fans can just think about how they have 9 more years of this to look forward to.
Who's that?
Raiders fans.
Oh, Raiders fans, yeah, with Gruden.
They only have 1 more year. Then it's going to be Vegas' problem for the next 9 years.
That's true. We'll see. Should be a hell of a week 1. I can't wait. I'm already excited. Can't wait to kick it off tomorrow night. Thanks for coming on, Gavin. Another successful week on the podcast. We'll be back next week to break down the week 1 and predict week 2. And we'll have plenty of storylines to talk about. And we'll be celebrating a good Bears win on prime time. Josh, you heard it here first. Bears. Beartown, Chicago. All right. So that'll do it for the podcast. Thanks for coming on, Gavin. We'll get Stoyo's perspective here in a couple days. Have a great day, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or leave a comment. And have a good one. Peace out.